the anthem, Barcelona anthem. Are we ready, guys, for the biggest game of the year? It's the El Clasico time. So let me just switch off the music. Here we go. Welcome everybody to another stream here on my YouTube channel. Today I've got a very special guest here before the El Clasico. The lineups are in, so we're going to talk some Barca today. And yeah, I've got a big Dutch journalist, in my opinion. He'll probably say he's not that big of a deal, but I think it is. So yeah, he works for a Dutch newspaper, does a lot of television appearances for the Dutch news channel called NOS. And is the Barcelona correspondent on the TV in the Netherlands. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to chatting a little bit about Barcelona and yeah, maybe the Spanish lifestyle as well, because he's been living in Spain for some time. So let's bring him on the stream, shall we? All right, here we go. Hey, Edwin, how are we?
There we are.
Yeah. Yes. All good. So yeah, thank you very much for joining the stream. So say hello to some of the Barcelona fans that have just joined.
Yeah, hello to everybody. We're waiting. I don't think you want to see me. We want to see the match, but we still have to wait just more than an hour to start it. So maybe we can chat a little bit about the past and especially the present of this Barcelona.
Yes, I'm very much. So obviously, as a journalist, how did you become a journalist? Did you study for it when you were younger? And
yeah, I knew it when I was 12, 13 years old. I wanted to be a journalist. I loved newspapers. There was not online or YouTube or anything like that in those times. So after my school, I studied 3 years in the only school of journalism there was in Holland. And during the study, I already found a job at the newspaper in Holland. So I got in very quickly, and it was kind of casual that the first job I had was in the sports section of the newspaper. So I started, although I wanted to do some other things too, but I started in sports and following soccer right when I was 21 years old when I finished study. So already at 21, I went to matches of the Dutch national game. I have to cover Feyenoord a lot. It was a newspaper from Rotterdam.
Yeah.
So that's how you start as a journalist.
Wow. So back in the day, already covering the Dutch games. Feyenoord, obviously the rival club of Ajax. And how did you end up in Barcelona in the end?
Oof, that's a long time ago. I will make the story short. 1980, I was 17 years old. I met on holiday here in Spain with some friends. I met a Spanish girl. We fell in love, and she came to Holland. But as we know in Holland, in a lot of other countries, it can be very cold.
Yeah.
And those were the most severe winters in years in the 80s. And after 4 years, we were married already. She asked me, could we go back to Barcelona maybe? I'm not pleasant here in Holland. I said, okay, I quit my job here and we started in Barcelona. And it was a coincidence that when I left for Barcelona in 88, the new coach of Barcelona that year would be Johan Cruijf. So
wow.
I arrived the same year as Cruijf. And yeah, since then, well, I covered Barcelona a lot, and it helped me a lot too to start to find work for example, Dutch newspapers.
Wow! So straight away in with the Barcelona covering, then I suppose with the starting out in the newspapers in Barcelona. So let's talk. Well, since you arrived in the same time as Cruijff to Barcelona, that brings me on to my next question. So you did a few interviews with Cruijff, which are rather famous, especially I'm sure in the Netherlands and also in Catalonia. So how did you get access to those interviews with Cruijff? How did that come about?
Oh well, I think when he still was a coach, normally you ask that through the club. It's the club who decides. It's like it's going now too. Also, you can't ask directly normally an interview with a player or a coach. So you ask the club. But of course, we knew each other. I went a lot through the training sessions in those times. pro football was different, because we journalists, we could always be every day seeing all the training sessions of the Barca, of Cruijf, of his dream team. Now everything is closed after at any club. So those were different times. And after the training session, you had some small talk with Cruijff or some player, and then you ask sometimes an interview what is not necessary continuously. So we went to press conferences also. And after he had to quit, he was fired as a coach in '96.
Okay.
But he was still always present, especially in Dutch football, having his opinion on Ajax, etc.
Yeah.
So then, when I wanted to contact him, I called him. I had his phone number, or with a camera, I went directly to his house to ask him some things. And he always, and that he was incredible, kind person, that he never said no to talk. So maybe he said no interview, etc. But he started talking, and you had the interview finally.
Wow. Yeah, whenever I saw him on the Dutch television, he always seemed like a very approachable person. So yeah, I'm getting the feeling that that was definitely how he was as a person, and yeah.
Yeah, well, normally he was very approachable for everybody. I don't know, the people on the street, etc. He was very normal. But of course, when he was a coach and I a journalist, well, we know there is always some tension between the two parts.
Yeah.
We don't have, as the coach say, the same interests. So we had some fights too, etc. And or discussions about what I write or what he said, etc. That's normal in our profession.
Oh, it's true. I guess when you get out of the job of being a journalist, then maybe he talks different to you as when you're in that role of doing an interview and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I'm still a journalist. I've always been it, and I always say, as a journalist, I don't want to be friends with people who I have to write about. So I never got friends with Cruijff or any soccer player, because I've got my job and I have to want to write what I want to do. But he changed a lot when he was not coach anymore. Then he hadn't the pressure of being coach, the pressure of being at Barcelona. The pressure in Barcelona is incredible. Ronald Koeman told me last week, you can't imagine how much the pressure is. Or in Madrid,
Wow.
Zidane,
Yeah.
he complains about it, about how it changes every day, every result.
Sure.
But when Cruijff wasn't coach anymore, then he was more relaxed, and it was a lot more easier to talk with him. And you see that all the former football players, you see them all in TV shows, studios, like analyzing the games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're quite different now with journalism and with television as when they were as a player.
Yeah, I bet, because you're under all that pressure, so obviously you react different to
Yeah,
questions or maybe to situations
sure.
and things like that. So maybe is there anything that you could share an anecdote or insight about Cruyff that maybe the general public wouldn't know about him, the main man?
I think, well, especially we in Holland, we know already everything about him, because
Yeah.
there's been written a lot of books. And personally, no, we've got some things, but I don't think maybe. And I didn't see that. Others told me, but you will be surprised. But you can compare him a little bit with Donald Trump.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. I
Yeah.
think the only two men who cheat a lot playing golf. Who
Oh,
and in golf, that's seems to be. I don't play golf, never played, but and I think that's forbidden. You can't never move the ball, etc. And as well as Donald Trump, the two of the two of them, they can't stand losing. So Johan was always. People told him that. Then he was on the golf course, and he got the ball, and he put them in a better place.
oh wow. So Cruyff liked to get one up on his opponents, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's always been with the Dutch and the Catalan connection. It's been there for some time now. What would you be your take on it? What can you explain the connection that the Catalan and the Dutch have?
I think it started in the 60s when the Dutch people and the Belgian also, a lot of them started to arrive to Spain. Spain was a dictator with General Franco,
Oh yeah,
and a lot of people didn't want to travel over there. But in the 60s, there was started tourism in Spain. A lot of Dutch people came with a caravan to the camping sites in the Costa Brava, and they started to like Catalonia a lot. And the Catalans, they told me a lot of them started to know the Dutch and the Belgian people on those camping sites in the small towns near Barcelona. And in the middle of that, in 71, arrived a Dutch coach in Barcelona, Rinus Michels. He was the first Dutchman in Barcelona. He came from Ajax, the big Ajax, the great Ajax. And 2 years later arrived Johan Cruijff, also from Ajax. And that changed a lot because when he arrived, Barcelona was 14 years without winning the championship. And it was always like that. Real Madrid won a lot, and Barcelona, they had a big team that won six European Cups in the 60s in Madrid, and Barcelona nothing. And the year Cruijff arrived, Barcelona was almost the last in the classification of the Liga, because he started in October to play, had to do with some papers, etc. And when he started to play, they wouldn't lose any more game in that season till they were champion in 74 with him after a 5-0 win in Madrid, in the Bernabeu Stadium of Barcelona. And that was the biggest party ever, almost, in Barcelona, because in 73 and 74, Franco was still alive. And they saw it here that Cruijff, a Dutch guy, had saved them a little bit from all the pressure from Madrid, the oppression from Madrid. And they won the title in 14 years. So I think that's the moment that when you were Dutch in Catalonia, you were a hero also, as Johan Cruijff was. And then after that came a lot Barcelona, because he came back as a coach, and there he changed the thoughts about football here, playing attractively, attacking, scoring more goals than the receiving goals. He preferred always to win 5-4 and not 1-0. And that what changed the ideas here. That where there came more Dutch coaches after him, and a lot of Dutch players too. I think that's why there's in Barcelona, or nowhere in the world there's played more Dutch players in a team, in a club, as in Barcelona.
This is probably one of the reasons why I started following Barcelona as well, because of the Dutch players that went there. So you always keep an eye out on the players from your country. So obviously, if they start playing for Barcelona, then that gets your interest. So
of course, Madrid Real had their Dutch guys too. One season they had four or five Dutch players, and big ones: Sneijder, Robben, Van Nistelrooy. Van der Vaart. But the most of them 1 or 2 seasons lasted 1-2 seasons and had to leave already.
I think that was when what's it called? When Perez arrived, he got rid of most of the Dutch players back in the I don't know why. Probably because he had other players that he wanted to bring in for PR purposes, maybe.
Well, they bought guys who were named Beckham, Ronaldo, or Zidane, so they were not bad in either.
No, true. People in the chat are laughing because I called him Papa Perez, because that's his nickname on Twitter. So I don't know.
Okay.
So
he's one of the richest guys in Spain.
Yeah, he is actually. Yeah. He made a and he's again president for another 5 years, I think, or 3 years today.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a journalist, do you always, I mean, you mentioned it already a little bit before, do you always keep your distance, or can you be a fan at the same time of a person or a club? Do you, like, how do you keep that separate?
No, of a person, not, because they're normal persons like you and me. Sometimes we put them over there as a football player, etc. But when you meet them, especially in my job, you meet them all and you talk normally, and they're normal guys. They're crazy guys, but they're also crazy journalists. So that's the same. But of course, when you follow a club so many times, and I mean, you live here. I live here now 32 years, and I worked 20 years at the Spanish newspaper, a Catalan newspaper. I had to follow some years Barcelona every week, and of course, you're going with Barcelona. It's the team you like most, especially if they play good football. But in your articles, in your chronicles of the games, you must be critic, you must be distant, but you also know when you write for a Catalan paper, you write for normally the fans of Barcelona, so you tell them more, you're more inside Barcelona. So of course I like much more. I'm if you can call, I'm not a fan. You can't call me fan. I follow it with an interest.
Okay.
I was fan, but last years it changed us a little bit. But of course, tonight, as a journalist, I have to write a chronicle. I will be distanced from a newspaper online.
Yeah.
But as a person, I'm hoping Barca will win, of course, and take that 5 points advantage of Real Madrid. So of course, I'm not. You can't be neutral. That's almost impossible.
Yeah, especially with a game like this, I think everyone chooses a side. Either Madrid or you're either rooting for Barcelona. This is even people from other clubs. They tend to choose one camp. Like I'm either Camp Madrid or Camp Barcelona. Obviously, like you,
yeah, but and curiously, in Spain that changes a lot, because till the 70s, the 80s, most of Spain, people in Spain, were Real Madrid fans and not for Barcelona. But when a team during many years win titles, play so good football, and have so incredible stars as Ronaldinho or now Messi, that you see the youth in a country is changing. Maybe a lot of boys from Sevilla, Valencia, etc. Their fathers or mothers are for Real Madrid, but maybe the kids, the boys and daughters, they're for Barcelona because they like Messi, or the other ones like Ronaldo. They're from Real Madrid. It changed a lot. Before there were less people fan of Barcelona in the rest of Spain.
Oh, really? Like, was that back in the 90s? Was it
Well, till
lower?
the 90s. It started to change in the 90s because people will see Barcelona won four league titles successfully from 90 to 94.
Yeah.
They never did it. They won their first European the European Cup, the Champions League in 92. And yeah, young boys see players. They saw then player like Romario, and then you like a lot of kids like most the team that plays best or with the big stars.
No, of course, and I obviously know that win in the European Cup because of Koeman's goal in the final. I think that because I went to the Barcelona Museum and they have that on repeat in one of the corners there. So it's very. I think that, as you said, that that's probably how the link, as you mentioned already, became even stronger when you get these kinds of successes with Dutch players and things like that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the current Barcelona and Koeman. You mentioned him briefly already that you spoke to him recently. What do you think of what Koeman has done so far this season, and what are your opinions on his Barcelona?
Well, I think it's quite unexpected for anybody of us who follows Barcelona that now they are where they stand right now.
Yeah.
So that maybe after this weekend, they're leaders of Spanish championships or something, or next week, and they can still win, and they can win the La Copa del Rey, the cup, next week.
Yeah.
When he came here, I thought, what you're coming to do here? Barcelona lost 8-2 to Bayern Munich. There was there still is a big financial economical crisis because there are no tourists in Barcelona. There are no people buying shirts here in the stadium. There are not people buying for quite a lot of money ticket for a Barca game.
Yeah.
So they lost. They don't have money. Then he started. Then the big future star Ansu Fati get injured.
Yeah.
Coutinho was playing well, got injured. There were more injuries, of course. They lost games in the last minute or 1-0 to again. You thought, well, this is quite a mess. It looked like in the beginning, and a lot of people from Holland, when they called me from a radio station, and the question was, will Ronald Koeman arrive to Christmas in Barcelona?
Oh, wow.
I said, well, Barcelona don't have money. They don't even have money to send him away and pay him his wages for 2 seasons. So, but then it started to change. You saw that Messi got confidence, etc. It's the way, I think, of working of Koeman. He did that before with the Dutch national team. It was also didn't go to European nor the World Championship, the last ones. He arrived and he started to build a new team together, to get some young players too, different players. And then in 1-2 years, Holland was playing a football that surprised everybody. They won against France and Germany. He did the same at Feyenoord before. It was a team that lost everything always. There was always crisis. And he arrived and he gave the club some, how do you call it, confidence. And it was quiet finally at the club. And you see Barcelona too. There's always a lot of noise around Barcelona continuously, especially this season. The president Bartomeu, who had to quit, the elections, no money, no players. He asked for some players. Only Serginho Dest was contracted from all the players that he wanted. But in that mess, it was really a big mess. Also among the players, it was a mess. Messi got confidence in him, the rest of the players, and now you see them playing, smiling, and winning. So I think really that his job, he's got an important responsibility in how they're playing and how they're enjoying football again.
No, I totally agree. You can see how it evolved from all the players being and I think Messi is a prime example of how he was behaving himself on the pitch at the start of the season, and now, like let's say midway to the season, it's a big difference, and it's great to see actually all the players smile and having fun on the pitch. It's really great to watch.
Sometimes we subestimate the role of a coach. People, when Guardiola was here, I think there was a Barcelona that played the best football I've ever seen since I'm here. And a lot of people said, yeah, of course, with Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, any coach can be a good coach. But no, because Guardiola made them play in a way that Barcelona was so incredibly superior at the other teams. So the coach has a big influence, can have a big influence, not on the pitch, of course. The people, the players have to score the goals, etc., and don't make big mistakes, etc. But in the idea, the philosophy, etc., the coach can be important because you've got there a class of 25 children, and you have to conduct them. You have to tell them what you want, what you see. And if they don't want, then you've got a big problem.
No, of course. I totally agree. A coach has a big influence on how the style of play is, how the players, their confidence and everything else. Yeah, obviously once they get on the pitch, then you have to let it go, but to a certain degree. But for sure, the coach has a lot of influence, and we'll get a little bit more about Guardiola's Barcelona, I'm sure, in a little bit. So going back about Koeman, you worked on a documentary about him, which I think is so far only released in the Netherlands, Forza Koeman. How was that, and making that documentary and have access to almost everything with him?
Well, I'm not really. I made it. It was a producer, Captains, and they started the day Ronald arrived in Barcelona. They took the flight with him to here. It was an idea also of his agency that represents him,
right?
Wasserman in Holland. They said, "Yeah, it will be a difficult year, but it could be nice to follow you from very nearby." And he agreed. Of course, he has to agree, because there was a cameraman. In the beginning, there was only a cameraman with him, sometimes at house, in the car with his son, etc. And finally, I came in to do the interviews in Barcelona with Koeman, with his assistants, Schreuder and Larsson, with his wife, about their life here and what they're experiencing. But all of that is possible because the Koeman wants it, and because it's a difficult year. Also, the camera can't go in the stadium with all the Corona rules there are. The players are in their bubble, so it's difficult to work. But Koeman opened his house for us, for the documentary makers, and it's very nice to see the other side of a coach.
Yeah.
Not only we haven't seen him still in the dressing room, would like to do that. Maybe there will be next sequence about this end of the season, of course, because it can be an incredible happy end of the season. So the camera wants to be there too, and I think Koeman likes it too. That okay, now we're so far, we should be there also the day that Barcelona will be champion.
Yeah, that would be incredible achievement with the situation that the club was in at the beginning of the season. Even if they just win the Copa and not the league, it will still be an incredible achievement, in my opinion. So that brings me on to the next question. Do you think Barcelona can win the league and the Copa? In your humble opinion?
Yeah, they can win and they can lose it. So those are will now be decided in one game, the final in the Copa against an Athletic de Bilbao. Of course, they're frustrated about their loss last week against Real Sociedad. Barcelona was superior to them in the league, but not in the Super Copa, for example. So those games on one match, it's always difficult. But I think the most important thing of Barcelona is confidence right now. They even now a bad game like against Valladolid, they win in the last minute. And you told about the joy of Messi when you see how Messi jumps in the arms of Dembele.
Yeah.
Then you say, okay, he's happy again. They want to win. They want to. They're incredibly motivated, and they've got the confidence. Atletico Madrid has less confidence now, and they will miss Suarez the next weeks.
Yeah.
Real Madrid also has the confidence. They're still in the Champions League. Could be a handicap too, because they have to play next week again against Liverpool. Yeah. Barcelona won't have to play. But here in Spain, we think it will be a race between Barcelona and Real Madrid, and for that, the today's match will be very important. Koeman said me, he said this match won't decide the Liga. So he said they're pretty confident, and we'll see. Even a draw won't be bad for Barcelona. But if they win, they've got that 5 points lead on Madrid, and with only then 8 games to go, that will be a lot more difficult to. So of course they've got all the possibilities to win it, but It can be, yeah. The other, we hope not, but it always can, just for one result or one bad game. It will be tight. Zidane said it yesterday.
Yeah.
It will be tight till the last game of this season.
No, it's true. Yeah, as you said, the confidence is high. But yeah, it's not title deciding, but obviously the honor of the El Clasico is on the line. So I'm pretty sure that the players would want to win this just because it's Madrid. So yeah, it's going to be a. I think this is also the first time that I'm feeling really hyped for an El Clasico for some time, just because of how the team Barcelona is performing,
Yeah.
and how the season is going. I think it's going to be a really good El Clasico, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's still strange. Although there's a hype, I went to the Clasico here in Barcelona. Were no people on the street, all the bars were closed, etc.
Yeah.
And now it's the same in Barcelona. At this time, the bars close at 9 o'clock. Nobody can be there on the street after 10 o'clock. So it looks like that because of COVID, we live, especially in the streets and the bars, etc. We don't live football as in a normal season.
It's true.
And also the game tonight, to see them play tonight in that small Alfredo Stefano Stadium instead of Bernabeu. That's an incredible stadium with the people, 85,000 people, 80,000 people, almost on the grass, on the pitch. That's incredible. So that will be very strange to see them, to hear them. But in Barcelona, that's true. The last years, well, especially last year, was such a bad year that nobody wanted to see, not even the Clasico. But now I'm sure that at 9 o'clock, everybody here at home will be at home and at the home of a friend and hoping for a good result in this game.
No, exactly. You're right in saying it's a shame that it's not being played at the Bernabeu. I tweeted about that earlier today as well, because these kind of games, you want them to be played in the big stadiums, right? So it's going to be strange.
Yeah, I've seen. I think I've seen 20 or 30 Clásicos in Camp Nou and Bernabeu, and the ambience there and here and on the streets, the hours before the game in the bars, everybody drinking, eating, talking. That's football too, and we all miss it, and we will hope that next season. Koeman also says he wants to be. Please let me be coach of Barcelona till when there's public in the Camp Nou. So I've not been the coach for empty stadiums.
No, it's true. That must be, but if for the coaches, but also for the players, I'm sure that they are dying to get the fans back in the stadiums, because it must be strange to play in front of empty seats and stuff like that. So so obviously Laporta became president very recently. What's your opinion on him as a president? Do you think he can get things back on track for Barcelona?
If like Koeman had last year, he has a difficult job, maybe even more difficult about all the debts of Barcelona, things they have to pay. He has to negotiate with banks, but still next summer he should buy some player, or most ideal is there will come some players that they're free of signing. There's no transfer fee like Depay or Wijnaldum, Agüero, Eric Garcia from Manchester City. So Barca don't have to pay for those players at the club. So that will be. But I think they want somebody more. And Laporta has a lot of experience in doing it. The players have a lot of confidence in him. We all know that the players were very, very angry with Bartomeu about his way of behaving with them, especially Messi, of course. We see Messi also more happy now that Laporta's here, I think. So for Laporta, it's also important that Messi will stay. For everybody here,
of course,
they want to see Messi stay. He won't decide till the end of the season, he said. But if that's true, then it will be all everything a little bit more easier. And when there can be public coming to the stadium again, when there can be tourists traveling to Barcelona again, they will recover. But it will be a long, long way for Barcelona to get on especially economically and on the level of before.
Yeah, no, it's true. He's got a massive job ahead of him, but yeah, with the experience, hopefully that will help a lot to get the club back to the status it had. I don't know, in the early 2010s, let's say. And I mean, I've got two questions in regards to you personally as a journalist and writer. Will there be a new book from you soon, Edwin?
Next year.
Next year.
Okay. About Barcelona, but it will be a novel. I write novels also, not only non-fiction books or sport books. And this will be a novel, and it won't has anything to do with the club Barcelona or sports or something like that. So it's a story in Barcelona. I can't tell more about it because still writing it.
Of course.
But sometimes I change. Now I've written 3 non-fiction books: one about Barcelona, about Cruijf and Frankie, two about cycling in Spain. I love cycling a lot, and but now it's time to forget the sports a little bit and write about the real life.
Oh wow! I must definitely keep an eye out to.
Yeah, I will warn you. When it's, but it will be next spring. So 1 year to go.
No problem. I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, with you having interviewed some of the biggest names in football, Barcelona history, let's say, who's still on your wish list to interview?
Here at Barcelona, you say?
Maybe at Barcelona or in general that you are thinking, oh, I would love to sit down with this person to ask.
Oh yeah, well, in general in the world, a lot of people you always would like to interview now, but it depends on your job or what you're doing. And referring to Barcelona, I told you already in the beginning, it's a lot more difficult to work for journalists. We're welcome, well, not even welcome now because of COVID, but no, before we were welcome one day a week at a press conference. It's a lot more difficult to make good interviews, but I think one of the best interviews could be, and he doesn't like interview, he doesn't do it a lot, is Sergio Busquets.
Oh wow!
I think he's got an incredible lot to say. I think he's one of the most important players in all the successes of Barcelona and the Spanish national team of the last 10 years. Almost anonymous. A lot of people I know they don't like him because he's complaining or he can be a little bit rough. But for a coach, he's the ideal player. He knows where to be on the. Xavi and Iniesta couldn't play the way they played without Busquets on their back, covering all the spaces, seeing what's happening. Sometimes a good pass, etc. And I think he deserves a real good interview. There were very few with him here in Spain also, because I don't think he likes it a lot, but he's worth a good story.
Oh, it's definitely true. He's one of the another player that at the start of the season, like I guess like Messi maybe, that was having a little bit of a form dip and then picked it back up like towards Christmas, that sort of time, and he came back to his best. And yeah, he's one of those players that people don't really talk about, but he's definitely world class in his position for sure. So,
yeah, no, and he's one of the players also that, because before arriving Koeman, there was always everybody saying, well, coach has to clean up the dressing room, especially those older ones like Piqué, Alba, Busquets, big contracts. They will be sold, or they won't play so much as they played before. And well, nothing of that is true. They're playing now. Busquets will play today. Piqué starts on the bench today because they won't take any risk. But as Piqué and Busquets, and especially Jordi Alba, they're playing as you say, when the team started to go well, they were going well too, and they're still, I think, fundamental players for this Barca.
No, I totally agree. And I guess we'll have to give some credits to the coach for getting these experienced players back into the mindset of winning
Yeah, and he needs them, said Ronald yesterday in the press conference, because Madrid will be playing the Clásico with more experienced players. And Barcelona will be some players they're not used to play. They never played a Clásico in Madrid, like Araujo, Pedri, Dest, and Mingueza, and they will be there on the field today. And he said that's why we need also experienced players to help them if they need help, or to teach them how to play this game. But they have to play, because if those young ones won't play today, they will never learn how to play a Clásico with all the pressure, etc. So he got, I think that's his biggest achievement. He made a big mixture of young players, elderly players, and recovered players like Dembélé, who we thought he was missing on I don't know which street in which town, and well, they recovered him for the pitch.
No, it's true. It's great to see that. Okay, well, those were my prepared questions. Just one question out of interest. In your opinion, will Messi stay at Barcelona? As in, like, will he extend his contract?
We never know, because there's nobody who says so little as Messi. I think it's a good sign that since January he's free to negotiate with other clubs.
Right.
There are almost no rumors. There have been some rumors about Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think he wouldn't go to Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe for one strange reason. There was a big robbery in the house of Di Maria in Paris. With his family, retained by the robbers. A player doesn't want to do that. In Barcelona, he's been always very safe. And I think neither that he wants to go to a cold town like Manchester, and even Manchester planning. What they say from Argentina, he's got an idea. Of course, we all know he wants to retire at Newell's in Rosario, at the club where everything started, and where he played so few. And seems that he has a wish to play some years in Miami. For a lot of Argentinians, South Americans, Miami is a marvelous town. Oh, wow. So before going back to Rosario, maybe he could go to Miami. But I think too that he wants to say goodbye to Barcelona with public. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona in an empty Camp Nou. And the most important for him is that he sees this around him, a team that can win again, that maybe next year could win the Champions League. Is most important for him. So now you see how he's with Pedri, how he's with Dembélé, how he is with Frankie de Jong. So I think when they win a prize this year, or maybe those two, that Messi has not one reason to leave Barcelona.
No, it's true. I would agree. It's he's very much like I want to win one more time the Champions League, and I think it's very important to him. So if he sees that a team can achieve that on short term, then why would he leave Barcelona for somewhere that he doesn't know if he's going to be successful or not? Well, in my opinion,
but he could be like what happens now with Ronaldo in Turin. He can be criticized a lot when something goes wrong. When you go with 33 years to City or PSG, and you're not, you have to adapt, etc. The player is the coach, and you're not scoring the goals as you scored with Barcelona. There will be criticism within some weeks. So it's more comfortable for him too to stay Barcelona. And let me hope his kids, Thiago, especially Thiago, his oldest boy, he doesn't want to leave Barcelona. Let's hope that they can convince him.
No, it's true. I think that was one of the biggest reasons that last season he stayed. Well, apart from how Bartomeu played the game, but also obviously his family not wanting to leave Barcelona was a big reason for him to stay, I think. So,
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got a few quick fire choices for you, where you say one or the other.
Oei.
Maradona or Messi?
Messi.
Messi, okay. Van Gaal or Koeman?
Koeman.
Barcelona or
I had
Utrecht?
a lot of fights with Van Gaal, so
okay.
I'm not subjective in this one.
Okay, fair enough.
He hated me.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Van Gaal is a very particular person anyway. I always, his interviews are kind of legendary with his broken Dutch English. Was always funny to listen to, especially when he was coach at Man United. That was some
I know,
good interviews there. So Barcelona or Utrecht?
Barcelona.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Cruijf
Yeah,
or...
I was born in Utrecht, so I love my hometown. But I live now more time here in Spain than I've ever lived in Holland. So no, Barcelona is my town.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful city. I visited many times, and in 2019 I went to the game Barcelona-Sevilla, where Barcelona won 4-1. It was an incredible experience to be in the Camp Nou. And then obviously 2020 happened, and nobody was able to go to any games for a long time.
No.
Cruijff or Guardiola as coaches?
Oof. Well, as I always said, and other people told also, Cruijff made the basement of what Barcelona is right now.
Right.
And Guardiola made it perfect. Guardiola was even more crazy, more progressive than Cruijff. So I think for Barcelona, the two of them are incredibly important.
It's true. It's I would find it hard to choose between those two as well.
Well, Cruijff as a player, of course, he was.
Yeah.
Cruijff changed a lot football for the whole world.
It's true.
But then I would, of course, we would always choose Cruijff. But we don't have to subestimate what Guardiola did with what he left.
No, it's true. Was Guardiola's Barcelona the best Barcelona that you've seen, or is there another Barcelona that you've seen that is better?
No, there was a dream team of Cruijff, and it was good. They played well, but they didn't play and they had a wonderful Clásico. The first I remember there was a 5-0 in 93-94 with 3 goals of Romario and 1 free kick of Koeman. It was incredibly hard, and the team played well, but wasn't so superior as the teams of Guardiola were, because he had a lot of good players. And I think more important, there was one game with Guardiola against Levante when the 11 players on the pitch were players from La Masia.
I remember that. Yeah.
Almost never happened in history. So he gave also opportunities to the young players, and that Barcelona could play with 11 players from their own youth. I think that's important. And that year too, or the year after, 3 of them, Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, were on the podium of the Golden Ball of the FIFA. That was the team of Guardiola. So that was really the best Barcelona I think that we've all seen.
No, it's true. It's I remember when I used to watch this Dutch TV show, Football International. I'm sure you know it, and they always picked clips of Barcelona because they used to play the triangles on the midfield. It was incredible to watch with Iniesta, Busi, Xavi, and then Messi and Dani Alves. They all played these little triangles. I've never seen a team play like that in my life. It's incredible to watch.
And it's more incredible when you're near the pitch. I've seen the training sessions of those players, and I said it's like seeing Formula One on television. You can't see how fast the cars go. Well,
Yeah.
if on television you can't see how fast the ball goes when Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Messi they combine. When you're on the near the pitch, you get dizzy of them. It's incredible.
It's true. I mean, on TV, it's because the camera, I guess, is so far away.
Yeah,
You get a bit of a slower version of that. But yeah, and this is one that Henk gave me: gele vla or crema Catalunya.
crema catalana. It
Catalana,
says
sorry.
crema catalana.
Okay.
Because that looks like the gele vla. That's a Dutch desert,
Yeah.
vanilla. But here in Catalonia, they put some sugar on it and they burn the sugar. And it has an incredibly. I don't eat it a lot, but no, it's really good. Typical dish here from Catalonia.
Okay. Wow. That was my my prepared questions. Let's look at the maybe last thing we'll do is go through the lineup a little bit and your thoughts, and maybe get a prediction from you as well in terms of what you think is going to be the score line for today's game.
I'm very bad at predictions. I never had a good prediction.
So what are your thoughts on the lineup then? We start with that.
Yeah, no, we're talking about Barcelona. I saw that some kind of expected. The doubt was he will play with the three central defenders, the 3-5-2, and the doubt was, will Frankie start again as a defender? Will Piqué get in and Messi and Frankie to the midfield? Because I think, and that was in the game in the Camp Nou, the midfield of Real was better. And of course with Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric, they've got an incredible midfield. And if Frankie would play as a back, a central defender, then one of or Griezmann or Messi should defend more on the midfield to help Bussi and Pedri a little bit.
Yeah.
So Koeman did the logical thing. Piqué doesn't play, but Araujo in his place, and Frankie to the midfield to be there with Busquets and Pedri, so they can fill up the midfield and play the ball there. So it's not really a surprise that he made only this change. I think Frankie is okay as a defender playing against minor teams, because they don't have a lot of people attacking. But now they need the three defenders too, because of the three of Madrid. I don't know. I haven't seen the lineup of Madrid. Well, Valverde plays, I see.
Are they playing?
Yes, okay. Asensio won't play. There will be Valverde. But Barcelona will need its three central defenders, Mingueza, Lenglet, and Araujo, to stop especially Benzema and Vinicius. And no more surprises neither at Madrid. So they will do the Zidane sometimes tries also with the 3-5-2.
Right.
But against Liverpool, this one, the 4-3-3 gave good results, and maybe Valverde will be defending a little bit more than Asensio would do. But it's incredibly interesting. These are the lineups, and what's happening on the field can be so different.
Of course. So it looks like he's going to play Valverde as like a defending winger type of position, maybe.
I suppose to stop Alba, to help on that side now, because there's Pedro on that side. Lucas Vázquez will be interesting to see Lucas Vázquez and Mendy also on the coming there, and they meet with Alba and Dest. So, but you see, Zidane made a kind of change that he's cautious, but he has to win. In theory, Real Madrid has to win this game but could be a good recipe for him. We'll see.
No, it will be a very interesting game to watch for sure. And okay, so give us your best prediction then.
No, as I said, Uh, so I say normally seeing those two teams playing the last weeks, a 2-2, a draw would be a very logical result.
Cool. Yeah, I've been saying on Twitter 2-1 for Barcelona, but maybe that's for me a bit more of a opportunistic.
Yeah,
goal.
I would say that too, but realistic, I think 2-2. That's a problem for in Spain, the general goal average isn't important at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But the results between them. So really, it's Barca true. Should win 3-1 to equalize the 3-1 of the Camp Nou. That will be very important when they end. With the same points at the end of the season. So for Barca, if they win, they should do it with at least 2 goals difference.
No, it's true. I totally agree with you. So yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up my my interview with you, Edwin. I would like to thank you very much for coming on to the stream. It's been really a pleasure talking to you.
You're welcome.
Some great insights of Barcelona's past and also Barcelona's present. It's been really interesting chatting to you. So yeah.
Let's watch the game. That's
exactly. I was going to say, enjoy the game and good luck with your report later.
Okay, thank you too, and regards to everyone over there watching. And let's enjoy the game and hope for a great result and a great end of the season. There are only 1.5 months left, April and May, and everything will be decided. So
it's true. All right. Well, I'll
see you.
I'll close and see you around, Edwin. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining the stream. That was my interview. It was really great having Edwin on the stream. Thanks everyone for joining the stream as well. But yeah, let's enjoy the game together and see you on the next pre-game match stream. Ciao.